Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to NFT Bros podcast. My name is Adam. I am your host, and I have on the founder of Internet Game today with me, Chris. Welcome. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
What's up, bro?
Excited to have you on here.
Yeah, good to be here, man. I'm excited that we're doing this.
Yeah, so am I. So if if somebody who's listening to the podcast doesn't know what Internet Game is, will you just give them the quick 60-second, quick and dirty pitch?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me. As you said, my name is Krish. I'm one of the co-founders of Internet Game, and Internet Game looks and feels a lot different from a lot of like NFTs in the space, a lot of Web3 projects in the space, largely just because we came from a very different place. For us, we really have had this particular thesis where the future of consumer social would be increasingly more interactive, incentive-based, and community-driven. Something where instead of watching something, you're actually in the hot seat. And that was really this idea that we really wanted to explore. And so, for us, a lot of people know us as like the Squid Game of Web3. What we do is we put together these like fun, like mini game tournaments. Think like Fall Guys, Mario Party like games, but you're competing for the most amazing like NFT prizes or really just prizes in general. So it's just this elimination style contest that we just do pretty regularly where, again, people are minting a NFT ticket to play and then competing through a series of games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And your prizes are pretty crazy. I remember when you guys were first starting to like market things and there was a Bayak on there and I was like, yo, these guys are fucking serious. What? They have some funding. Like, unless you minted a bunch and just like you just have them and you're just like secretively like, yeah, we're the shit. But really, you got them for like a couple $100 a piece.
That would be
yeah, right.
A couple Bored Apes. I don't think I would be even doing Internet Game, but no, this is actually a really funny story because like I mentioned, like we came from such a different place. Like Jordan and I were actually working on something called Playground. Which very much shared the same thesis that we had that I described earlier. And Internet Game was really supposed to be like a one-time thing. It was supposed to be just like this experiment. It was like, oh wow, Squid Game is so cool. Like this is like taking the world by storm. Like what if we just did that with Web3, where we had people play these fun, simple games, but for the chance to win a Bored Ape? Like that was the germ of the idea.
Right.
And then what happened was, so we had already raised like a little bit of money. I think like $700,000. And so we literally spent half of our funding on that Bored Ape, like literally half of the money that we had.
Yeah, at the time it was what, like they were at probably like 100 ETH at the time, weren't they?
Yeah. I think,
No,
gosh, it was less. The second Bored Ape from season 1 was about 104 ETH, but when we bought that Bored Ape, I think we bought it for like 50 something ETH.
Okay, so you got it in a good
still,
price point. Yeah,
I mean, ETH was still really, really hot. Like
right.
It was expensive.
yeah, for sure, absolutely. Like when I first heard the concept, it was explained to me, and then the Squid Game reference wasn't used, and I just immediately I was like, oh, like Squid Game. I was like, oh, this is really fucking cool. This is going to be interesting to see in terms of like execution, how they do. And you guys did phenomenal. Just touch on how did season 1 go? How did season 2 go?
Yeah.
And then tell me about Saw Games, like what you guys got going on with that.
Yeah, no. So again, I appreciate you saying that. I think it's one of these things where like season 1, like we barely survived. Like you can't tell from the outside looking in, but like it was just like our house was on fire. Like we like barely survived. But like you said, I think that season 1 happened really at the tail end of NFT mania of this past run. So I think that like we kind of got on the last train. In a way, like it was just kind of wild from that regard. But basically, we showed up on the space, or like showed it into the space, and again, it was this like without having to say it, like we were like the Squid Game of Web3, and you're buying a ticket to play in this game, and I think like in like a sea of PFPs, like we really stuck out in a positive way. So there was a lot of interest in what we were doing. There's a lot of people that squinted their eyes, like are these guys for real? Are they actually going to give away all this money and like yada yada yada? But I think enough people were curious enough to try. And so, the results from season 1 were pretty fantastic, right? We gave away over $1 million worth of NFTs, like just absurd, like multiple Bored Apes, like Mune Apes, Cool Cats, etc. And so, and I think so we like the top 500 people all walked away with some prize at like minimum one ETH up, which was really awesome. But I think the thing that we found was that like people just found it to be one of the most fun things they'd ever done in Web3. And that's when we like, again, this what was supposed to be this one time thing. We're like, hey, there's actually something here. Like, let's explore this. And there's so much more nuance to internet game now. But like, I think that's really just kind of what happens when you stumble upon something and you really decide to just like discover, like really just kind of move into it. And so then after that, basically after season one, I think that the product market fit we had around it, or really just the general approach that we were taking in the blockchain gaming space, was just so different from what you're seeing in general, where everyone has like some sort of like PFP and in some sort of like lore storyline where you need to save the princess from the castle and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We were just like, hey, elimination style mini games, like that's it. There's
Yeah,
nothing
it's
else.
cool. It's simple. It's easy to understand. Like, and it plays into the degen attention span,
Yeah,
bro. Like, it's much less than a normal attention span, and if you can't, like, unless they're really, really, really intrigued by, maybe your headline on your Twitter or whatever,
yeah.
that will draw them in, and then they'll take 10 minutes to figure out what the project is. But the majority of DGens are just like,
They don't read.
whoa, 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 mini games. What the
Okay,
fuck? I can win a board ape? Wait, hold on.
exactly,
Hold on. You have
exactly.
my attention now, right? And so it definitely plays into the market perfectly, man. And
Yeah,
I'm glad to see where you guys are and where you've come from, because yeah, we
we knew each
launched.
other for a minute too. Like,
Yeah.
which is funny. Like, thinking about it now, like because we met through I think Maple and Scourge, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken.
Yep. And I literally just messaged Maple a couple minutes ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's helping us with some other stuff for another project. But yeah, man, it was a long time ago, and definitely launched at like the end of the bear market for sure, or bull market. Like, it was starting to fade, similarly to when Just Cubes launched.
yeah.
We had a shit show of a mint.
I
Fucking Discord crashed. Like,
remember that.
oh my god,
Yeah.
dude, though, literally the only day
Oh,
in 2022 when fucking Discord crashed,
I
in
remember
the hour time frame from our fucking whitelist mint starting, Discord fucking crashes for 2 hours, and I'm just like,
this. Yeah.
of course, what? Because why the fuck would it be easy? And then we fought and we fucking fought and we fought and we fought for a month until we minted out.
That was
And at that point, we only, we cut the collection size to 50% of original supply. But
luck.
fuck, man,
I
it was a
remember.
fight, especially in that downturn of the bull market. Like, everybody was kind of like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna happen. There's a lot of negativity, but then once we minted out, like, shit just started flying.
Yeah, I
And
remember that
so,
too. But that's because you
uh,
did something legitimate too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's
yeah,
something.
thank you. That's I appreciate that. But tell me about Saw Games, and tell the listeners
For
how they
sure.
can get involved.
No, I think that like what had happened, which again, like so again, after season one, we're like, all right, there's something here. So basically we went out to the venture world and people like again, it was one of these things where like so many people had heard of us, which is like it was weird. But yeah, we ended up raising about $7 million, which is pretty exciting for me, just because like I come from a background in venture capital and like really more traditional startups. Like I wasn't like a Web3 like purist by any means. I'm like a startup
Right.
operator. And so
Mm-hmm.
like now then I felt like a lot more comfortable with kind of our placement and our ability to really explore what internet game is. And simultaneously, what was happening was like a lot of folks, right, were really interested in partnering with us, right? So like G Money, we got introduced to G Money and he's like, yo, I want to host a season. We're like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then, simultaneously we get hit up by like Autograph and Lionsgate being like, yo, we want to do something with you. We're like, all right, what's happening? Like, what's happening here? And that's really kind of so again, yeah, we did season two, which is crazy because we literally just did season two. It ran from, I believe, like September 30th to like October 15th or something like that. And it's October. No, I'm sorry, August 30th to September whatever 15th or something like that. And like
Right.
we're right into Saw for Halloween. So
Yeah.
it's kind of been this whole back to back thing, which has been pretty intense. But like if Lionsgate wants to do a partnership with you. You're not like, nah, sorry, we're a little bit tired.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean when they said they want to do something with Saw, like it's $1 billion film franchise. Lionsgate's a Fortune 500 company. Like, and for me, the reason that I'm like so excited about this is just because like again, you and I know this, right? And we as people who participate in the NFT space, et cetera, like for the longest time, it was just like kind of cash grab central, right? Like brand comes into the space. Hey, here's a bunch of pictures of us on the blockchain. Like, please buy them. Thank you so much. Goodbye. And like that was really all these brands are doing, right? Like they were just like putting pictures on the blockchain and be like, buy our NFT. And now all of a sudden you have this, Lionsgate and Saw being like, hey, we're actually willing to do something that's like interactive in nature. We're willing to reward people, in a very Saw themed way, right? So again, the Saw games, as they're called, is basically kind of like it follows the internet game formula of like super simple, specific mini games, but again, they're all Saw and horror themed, right? So like the games are called Blood Bucket and like Acid Bath, Incinerator. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, right. And this one is actually really different in the sense that like it's not about how many points you get, but it's about how much health you don't lose. So like can you make it through all these three games without dying and again having as much health as possible?
Right.
And so if you again come in first place, which is you've lost the least amount of health as possible, what's happening is you're like I think the first trip, like the first place trip, or sorry, the first place prize is you get to go visit the set of the Saw movie, right? You can
That's pretty cool.
yeah, right. Like you can have your name mentioned in the next Saw film, or you can go to the Saw like there's a like all expenses paid trip to London to go to the Saw escape room, and like I guess what I'm trying to say is that like it's so much more than NFTs, but at the same time these prizes are actually NFTs, right? Like so you're
Right.
winning an NFT that actually if you redeem it will allow you to go to the Saw set, which is
That's super cool.
crazy. Yeah. So I'm
And will it allow you to sell that NFT? I mean, I'm assuming so. Like, hey, fuck it, I can't make it out there. Is there a claim period for these
exactly right.
prizes as well? I assume. Yeah. So, um, that's super cool, man. If you put in the effort and you win, and like whether it's because you were lucky or you're good at gaming, you were able to flip that NFT and make some money and pay your rent, like
Oh yeah.
or whatever the case may be. It's super cool, and I personally, I love games. I don't want to be on your side of games. I want to be on the consumer side of games. I
It's
just
very
enjoy them more. I've built a game, like we built a little mini game, the Pong game. Like that was just
it's a lot. It's a
it's
lot.
a lot. Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, man. Like my co-founder Jordan and I, like we're both like, we're serious tech operators and all this kind of stuff, but like I don't think that we fully understood what we were doing when we like bought that board ape and put it up for grabs. Like, you know what I mean? We're like,
Yeah.
this is cute, like this is fun, like this
Oh,
is neat. Like how cool is this? And then like, but then we're like seeing messages in our Discord about like, man, I really need this money. I just lost my job. Like, and I'm just like, oh God. Like, like you have all these people, like there was this one guy, like, yeah, like I was playing because I'm trying to launch a project and I wanted to win the board ape and I wanted to give that board ape away. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, like, and
yeah.
so like I don't think that we fully understood the magnitude of like how seriously people would take it, right? Like
Yep.
like trying to fucking hack us and like people sending us doctored images, like it like really kind of I think it really opened up our eyes to like this isn't all just fun and games for a lot of people, and even the market that we're in and the type of work that we do in the NFT space, like I think that there's just sometimes such a misalignment between like the project devs and then the community because like we're going like you and I are trying to do something long term and these
Right.
guys are like how can I make money in 2 days, 2 weeks or 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a stan until I'm not a stan. I'm a stan if your price is going up. I'm
Yeah.
a critic if your price is going down. And
Exactly. And that's 90% of the people who are here
yeah,
right now.
I mean that
Which,
dude, I saw this
hey,
tweet I saw this tweet the other day where someone was like, "Hey, like, what brought you into the Web3 space?" I'm like, "What kind of question is that?" Like, it's if anyone says anything but money, like they're
yeah.
lying. Just lying.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Especially being so early. Like there's there's nothing now that will bring people into the space not just to make money or to focus on money. Like there are some cool games, but there a lot of the play to earns. Like people are coming in and playing those play to earns because they can earn money, right? And it's a huge incentive. But I think now with where we're at in the market, everybody's like, oh, it's the time to build. Well, it's like, yes, it is. If you have any fucking experience in building anything, in a bull market, it's a fucking shit show,
Yeah.
and it's like the wild wild west, and you don't get any fucking breaks. You don't get any time to just fucking sit and focus. Like there's so many things getting thrown at you, but in this bear market or like this lull of the market that we're in, it's so nice to build in. It sounds so cliche to say, but like now I'm not getting 400 pings about the same thing inside my Discord that my fucking moderator could answer.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and then having 6 meetings all at the same time on different fucking like it's we're in a lull, and it's nice, and it's a great time to build. And I think a lot of the solutions that are going to bring mass adoption to the market are being built now
Mhm.
and or being raised for now to start being built for.
No,
Like I'm going for a raise soon, and I didn't know you were so heavily in the VC market, and like I didn't know you raised that much. So I definitely will be sending you the pitch deck and getting some feedback. Like this will be my first raise. I've always just kind of bootstrap things,
yeah.
but um, we're gonna build a solution to help onboard more Web 2 companies into Web 3, and
Amazing.
I think it will be a really good thing to build now in this bear market. Because when bull comes, you got to be ready. Like you're not building anything for 5 years out in a bull market. You're building things for 3 to 6 months out in a bull market,
True.
just because things fly so fast.
It's really interesting. I mean, it's interesting in the sense that like it makes me actually really excited just because like I mean I don't know how long you've been around, but like for me, I was I got into the space in like 2015, and basically you had Coinbase, Binance, and like you basically had Coinbase and like centralized. You just had centralized exchanges. Like that was it.
Right.
Like it was like
Yeah.
it was like oh like this altcoin and it's like on Huboy or whatever. And so
Yeah.
you're like trying to get onto that random exchange and stuff like that. And then what happens is obviously 2018 I'm just like again I was at Disneyland closed, I sold out of all of the communities that I was a stand for, and then I just like went on with my life and stopped talking about crypto for about a couple of years. And then all of a sudden it comes back, and it's coming back with DeFi, and it came back with OpenSea and NFTs, and it came like it came back with like again so many more kind of like seasons and flavors in the Web3 space that it's so exciting because like again even decentralized exchanges, right? Like things something like Uniswap and PancakeSwap and things like that. Those things were like all the rage, right? Like
Yep.
Layer twos, Time Wonderland, right? Like
Yeah. Oh my. I will say there are so many. Like I'm so sorry. Like let me just preface this. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this podcast and you lost money on time. You were my exit liquidity. I
you're crushing.
literally sold to the fucking T, the top,
Oh,
literally 43 cents off the top. I sold
wow,
everything.
wow.
And and I told all of my boys that were in it, and I was like, I don't know why, I'm just getting this really fucking weird feeling, guys, and this sentiment around it. I'm out. I'm fucking out. I sold. And I'm so sorry if you lost a shitload of money. I had a lot of friends who lost money in that
Well,
too.
I mean, like again, I guess the thing that like it just you talk about like the degen. You're saying like internet game like for the degen person, and like for sure that there's definitely a thing there. Like I like to think that we're entertainment value, but like
Oh,
anyone that
absolutely.
looked at time or ohm and like this makes sense.
No, the fuck it doesn't.
That's that.
Yeah, so did Bernie Madoff, right? It's like, what the fuck? You're really gonna put your fucking life savings in that shit and just be
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah, it's safe. Come
it
on,
was.
really,
But
really?
yeah, and so but, like again, going back to it, it's just like I guess what I'm trying to say is that like I think that this next run, and who knows if I'm right or not, right? I don't know shit, but like this next run, I actually do think that you're gonna see like such a significantly more well developed like applications across the board. right? Like
Yes.
even like, and again, I don't know if you played in season 2 or not, but like in like the technology that like platform that we built for season 2, where it's just like, hey, like game 1, and then like it at 20 like 48 hours later or whatever, it would just turn into game 2 and then turn into game 3, and it just worked, right? And
Yeah.
like this is our alpha product, and like so for me, I'm like so excited because like where will like what will that like that platform and product look like in a year or 2 years from now? Like it's gonna be
Yeah.
wild. Like we
Yep.
supported multiplayer successfully. Like people, we literally had like our own rendition of bumper balls, and like people were like playing bumper balls against each other for a board ape. So, like,
Fucking
it's
crazy. That's so
absurd.
awesome.
It's absurd. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's really kind of. I mean, I think that's why I'm really excited. So even the things that you're talking about, like even this Saw game, like we accept credit card for this one. So people can
Oh,
literally,
fucking awesome.
yeah, pay and buy the Game Pass, which is what this one's called, via credit card, which is cool.
Nice. Going real web 2.5 with it. I like it. I
Got it.
think it's I so we're well, I say we're, but me and one of the other co-founders of Just Cubes are launching a whiskey brand, and
Yeah,
I'll tie
you
this
mentioned.
back real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so we're gonna try and do some Web 2.5, right? Because I have a lot of my friends and family who are like, "Yo, you're launching a whiskey brand? That's so cool! Like, how can I get it?" And it's like, well, you got to set up your MetaMask wallet, and then you got to fund it. I don't want to fuck. Just be like, hey, just go to this site on Mint Day, put in your fucking credit card information and Mint. I'll make sure you have an allocation,
Yeah.
right? Because you're my fucking dad or my sister or like whatever.
Right.
But I think that is a huge way to onboard a lot more people safely into this space without like, yes, there's always intrinsic risk with them potentially getting scammed, right? Because maybe they have to join the Discord to figure out things or whatever, but they don't have a wallet. Great. Fuck it. If it's in a custodial wallet, like people shit on custodial wallets all the time. I don't
Mhm.
know how you guys are doing that in terms of being able to play because
With
you
paper.
you do the mint with you just mint it and you get the NFT and it gives you access to play, right? How are you doing it with the credit cards? Is it similar with a
No,
custodial
we're
wallet?
using paper.xyz. Have you heard of them?
Okay. No, I haven't.
I would look
I'm
into that.
writing that down.
Yeah, look into them. We love them. I think that what they're doing is great. I mean, it's super simple. It just fucking works. Like you basically put in your email, it verifies your email, and then and then you can just pay via credit card, and you're good to go. Just
Awesome.
so no, that's been, again. I think that it's important, and frankly, like this is. I'm curious to get your take on it because like every single time that I go on quote unquote one of these press runs, I inevitably end up coming up with like these like what I call tracks, like like the thing that I'm just kind of saying over and over and over again.
Yes. Oh, same.
And so my track that's kind of come up over because I really, again, frankly, this is my like third or fourth thing today. But today, the thing that has really kind of come to me is that like I think that we have it like as Web3 like founders and stuff like that. I think that we have it backwards where like we always talk about bringing people into Web3, but I actually think it's the other way around where it's like it's bringing Web3 to people, right? And so it's not about like, hey, come here and learn about blockchain and learn about NFTs because they're just like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like
You
shut
don't. You're that guy at the fucking party in
you're
the
that
corner.
guy at
Like
the party,
these
like
motherfuckers don't know I have a board ape. Like the fuck.
yeah.
Exactly.
It's just like and like so like and like my and like so now the thing is like for me it's like it's not so much about like, oh, come here and learn about why this is important, but rather it's like, hey, we're bringing Web3 to the masses and they don't even know that they're engaging with Web3, and that's what makes it
Right.
beautiful. And
Yes.
so and like the way that I kind of build on it, and I like doing this now, is like like I talk about like TCP/IP, right? Like you know what TCP/IP is?
I don't know what TCP is.
It's the internet protocol. It's how we are here at this very moment right now talking
Nope.
to each other, right?
Nope.
As
Don't.
you are in
Okay.
CST and I'm in EST, like it's the internet. And
Right. Okay.
I'm like, hey, like how does the internet work?
Right. No
I have
fucking clue.
no
So
fucking, I have no fucking clue how to.
something is plugged in somewhere, telling something to do something
It's
else,
like
and
a
that thing is
giant
it.
router.
Yeah. It's like yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very
And so
interesting. I like that take though.
yeah, and so like I guess what I go on to say is that like it's just like no one is like being like, yo, this is the internet, this is why it's important, like, and because then everyone's just like, shut the fuck up, like shut up,
Yeah.
no one cares, man. Like I have a radio, I have a television, I don't need the internet,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Like, that's what they say.
Right.
And frankly, this happened on like David Letterman and Bill Gates. And so now it's the same thing where it's like, yo, shut up about NFTs or shut up about what
Right.
blockchain. Like, I don't care. Right. And so to a certain extent, it's not about like, I need to understand what this is and why it's important. It just needs to fucking work. It just
Yes.
needs to do whatever the hell it is that it's supposed to be doing. And I
Yep.
think that
Absolutely.
we're just experimenting and like figuring out like, how can
Oh
we
yeah.
use this to some.
Oh, dude, like I had this conversation with a buddy of mine the other day, and he's in the tech Web 2 space, and I was like, so he got in early in the tech Web 2 space. Like he's much older than I, and he's built a couple successful SaaS companies, and like I had this conversation with him, and I go like, dude, when you're at the forefront of things like we are, right? This new technology, this NFT, you get brushed off a lot, but like we don't really know what the fuck we're doing until we do it.
Not at all.
Like, uh, so many people look up to founders and people of higher status who are doing something innovative, right? And they're like, oh my god, they're so smart. They have all these crazy good ideas. They must know everything. Fucking PSA, no the fuck we don't. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. That's why I have so many books behind me and so many fucking contacts in my phone. Because when I don't know something,
Yeah.
I go open a fucking book or
Yeah.
I call somebody. I've never raised VC capital, but like I'm going to raise VC capital pretty soon. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to search on the internet. I am reading fucking books that tell me how to get VC capital. And I'm going to talk to people who know how to fucking do it.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to fucking raise capital. And people are going to be like, oh my God, you're so fucking good at business. It's like,
No.
dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just doing some shit and seeing what I'm just throwing shit at the fucking wall and seeing
Oh, it
what
is.
sticks.
I mean, like, frankly,
It's 90% of what we're doing, and like you're doing it very well.
appreciate
You
that.
have a good background. Yeah, of course, man. I call a spade when I see one. And I really like what you guys are doing, and think from the first time I heard about it, I was like, this is really this could really be something if they
Don't fuck
execute
up.
right. Like this is a cool fucking idea.
Don't fuck up.
And yeah, exactly. Don't fuck. But hey, if you do fuck up, hey,
Fix it. Yeah,
fuck it, fix
exactly.
it, or try again, right? Because like that's how early in the market we are. You can
And
just go try again.
that's the other thing that I kind of say, because like, don't get me wrong, like, like I'm super appreciative of the internet game community and the people that come in and try our games and all this kind of stuff. But like in the back of my mind, like even when I get like criticism, like people are like, oh, season one was so much better than season two, and people are like, no, season two is better than season one. Like no one's ever in creative work. You're always gonna have critics, like always.
Yes.
And they don't, and like again, these critics are just like everyday people, right? Like they don't
Yeah.
understand how difficult it is to ship product or even
No.
attempt something at the magnitude that we are.
Yeah. 99% of them have no idea.
None. They're just like, why price so low? And and so but like at the same time, it's this thing where gosh, I guess what I'm trying to say is that like we're just trying to do things and we like think it makes sense. And again, like you said, in the case that we do mess up, the thing that I always remind myself is that like, all right, cool, like there's like a few thousand people that are like, I'm never doing this again. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, you're the absolute minority in
oh,
this
no.
situation, right?
Yeah,
Like your small community, or like
yeah,
even if it's a big community. I don't know how many people in your Discord. You got like 30K on Twitter. Like that's a decent size of people, but like in the grand scheme of things, that ain't shit. You
nothing.
know what I mean?
It's nothing.
There's 30,000 people within a mile of me right now,
Exactly.
and it's like you're inside complaining about what somebody else is. It's like, come on.
No, exactly. That's how again, like we had thousands of like that. We're again, the number is thousands of people, right? Like I've
Yeah.
now had thousands of people play our games.
Yep.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
And so like for me, I just constantly remind myself that like okay, yeah, like this person's upset. This person's like, I'm never playing internet game again, and I'm like, okay, like I like obviously I really wish he'd stay, and I really would
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? Because this person's upset about something, and but I'm like, yeah, like I'm not targeting 10,000 people or like no, I'm targeting like 10 million people. Like, and so
Right.
for me, like
Yeah.
the road is so much longer. And like, that's why, again, these saw things are really exciting. And again, bringing Web3 to people is really, really exciting because there's just 99.9% of people have never heard of us. Like, so,
Yes. Exactly. And it's probably a couple more nines on the end of that. Yeah. And it's like, am I really going to listen to Dick Butkus
no, yeah,
69 420 in fucking Discord who's complaining about my floor price?
no,
No.
not at all.
Fuck off. I'm sorry you bought the top or you fucking spent your McDonald's paycheck on my fucking NFT project.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
dude, I'm here to build cool shit for myself first and foremost because I like building it and I like the connections and the people that I'm surrounding myself with to build these cool things. It just so happens that okay, yeah, sure, we have a couple thousand people who like what we're doing as well.
yeah.
It's like I'm sorry, you're the minority of people who are complaining about what we're doing.
And you know, I completely agree. And again, it's like one of these things where like I try to have compassion for really everybody,
I do as well,
you
man.
know,
Yep.
but it's just this again, like that's why I keep I talk a lot about this, right? It's like this misalignment between the NFT investor, speculator, trader, etc., where they're like, again, 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. Like I want to be in and out, and I want to move my liquidity somewhere else and do the same thing over and over and over again. And so that's why this person's upset is because they don't really give a fuck about just cubes.
No,
They don't really
they
give a
don't
fuck
care.
about
Nope.
internet game. They think it's cool for a
Yeah.
minute, but then from there,
They
it's
think it's cool because the market thinks it's cool and they're like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna make some money here. It's
yeah,
like, dude,
no, doesn't work.
I'm not here to pander to you trying to make money.
And then
Sorry.
exactly right. And then it goes one step further where again, like that's kind of the thing that like again, dude, I was, and I don't know if you remember this because again, you and I came up around the same time, which is like kind of what's interesting of talking to you is that like like we were so polarizing as a project, like even like when Maple was taking me around and introducing me to people and shit like that, like it's like, what do you mean there's no PFP? And like, what do you mean that there like
Right?
this game is like I play the game and if I lose, like not, like is my game token worthless? And like the worthless was the word that was just always thrown around.
Yes.
And I always used to have to say, I'm like, where in your life, like where in like there was just this giant lie, like a giant lie that was told where where like project number one is like, yeah, you buy this once and you're gonna get jam-packed utility and you're gonna be able to fucking retire off of this NFT. Right. And then project number two is like, oh, that worked well. Like, let's say that too. And then 3, 4, 5, 1,000. And then literally
Yes.
everyone just started to believe it. Everyone just
Yep.
started to believe that you could buy something once and then you're good for life. And
Yeah.
I just have to say, I'm like, over and over again, I'm like, when in your life have you ever bought something once and just had it?
Exactly.
And
Never. Like it's so never, ever, ever.
yeah.
And like I had Champ T on I think it was last episode. And him and I were talking about the sustainability of NFTs as a business, like the sustainability of the company and the people who are running it. It's like he mentioned having alpha groups that have a recurring subscription.
Mhm,
Like my friends over at MVHQ,
mhm,
they do a yearly subscription.
mhm,
It's an NFT that lasts a year.
mhm.
And that's all. Like it's a subscription. You buy it for a year and then you fucking remint it or get the fuck out. That makes sense. It's a subscription. People are so used to that, right? It's like I used to manage and still manage subscription services in the web 2 space. And I'm like, it just baffles me that people think that they can just
It was a
buy an NFT.
it was a lie. It was a lie that was told, and it was
Yes.
told enough
Yes.
times that people started to believe it is true.
Yeah.
And
A
that's
hundred percent.
it was, and it's so unhealthy. But the thing is that people didn't care, like because the project devs that said it, they were saying it because everyone else said it, and
Yes.
then the consumers were like, this only benefits me.
Yeah.
And like even for me again, like I know like we're kind of I don't know, we're just like on this like we're just like bitching essentially about
Hey, it's you know what? Hey, it's fucking needed. We're in a bear market. We
listen
we
to
we
us
could we
bitch
could
for 30
bitch a
minutes.
little bit. You know
Uh,
what? I'm sure they love it anyways. Like it's funny. Like
yeah,
I
but
have these these are the type of conversations that I have just with you outside of not doing a podcast. You know, there's value in the bitching because then, you know,
it's
hey,
important for
Joe
people to
Schmo
Yeah. Like,
84 who's listening to this might go, oh, you
okay.
know what?
Yeah. This doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to think twice about fucking investing in this project because it's the same as 88 other of these fucking projects. It just has a different trait on its fucking nose.
Literally.
And then he goes, oh, you know what? I might not go into Just Cube's Discord or Internet Game Discord and fucking complain about the floor price
I think,
or any Discord for that matter.
frankly,
I think it's a valuable
no,
conversation that's
I was
happening.
going to say at first I was like, oh man, like I was like, we're real, we're being very real, and I was like, that's actually kind of like I was like, oh, like are we being a little too real? But frankly, I think it's actually good
It
because,
is.
like you said, like I think it forces people to understand the project debt perspective because like
Yes.
I'll take it one step further is that like I've literally had conversations with people in my Discord, again, not a lot, but very few people where they're like, what are you doing with all the secondary sales? Like, why don't you put that all into the prize pool too? What do you do? Like, why are you only giving 60% of the mint? Why don't you give 100% of the mint, 80%? Like, and like, there's literally an attitude where people are like believe that they are justified in asking us to work for free.
Yep.
Like, they
Absolutely.
literally believe that it's
Yeah.
completely reasonable to be saying these things.
Yeah. Like, dude, prior to launching Just Cubes, and even when we launched Just Cubes, like the transparency of our money movement is 100% flawless. We always say when we're going to move money and why we're moving money, just because we feel like it's respectful. Like you invested in this idea. And so like it's essentially your money that we're moving around. I feel an obligation to let you know what we're doing with it. Although, on the other hand, don't fucking shame me for paying myself for fucking staying up for 20 hours a fucking day for 6 months
Literally.
to launch this project to that has a utility that then improves your transaction speed on the blockchain, therefore can make you fucking money trading.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
should get paid for that. What the fuck?
It's crazy. And
Why are you shaming founders for paying themselves? Like it's a trend I saw on Twitter. It's like, should founders be able to sleep? Like it's super fucking dude, it's super fucking hilarious. Like I don't know if you saw that. It happened like a week ago and like everybody was just like, should founders be able to sleep? Should founders be able to go on dates? Like it was so funny. And then founders started tweeting back at other people. It's like, should holders be able to fucking sell? It's like it's just so funny, man. It's like
again, like I'm telling you, man, there's just like this is. I mean, like I know we're laughing about it and we're like kind of poking
yeah,
fun at it, but like this just goes to show the massive misalignment
yeah,
in the space, right? Where like no one's in it for the tech, right? Like and like I feel fortunate in a sense that I'm so on the nose about like the opposite of we're gonna make it. I'm basically like yeah like I'm giving you the a chance at the best ROI you'll ever receive ever.
yeah.
But like, is it are the odds in favor? Like, not at all, right? Like, and I'm
Nope.
just so transparent about it, where I'm just like, yeah, like, where else can you spend? I don't know, point 0.1 ETH and then walk away with the board ape? Like, not a thing, right? But
Tell
like,
me if you figure it out. I'll go spend point one ETH there.
let me tell you about something called the internet. And but like I think that's the thing there is that like I'm like you said it's like a very simple, it's straightforward, and it is what it is, right? But like at the same time, like if it happens to be you, that's amazing, and if it doesn't happen to be you, the only thing I can promise is that like hopefully you had a lot of fucking fun. Like that's it.
Precisely.
Like
Yeah.
that's all I am, and I'm not trying to be more than that. I mean, I guess that's not true,
Good.
but like that's it.
You're just trying to provide entertainment, like you said. You know what I mean? Like you're like
What else are you doing?
you're
Like,
not trying to you're not trying to be a Just Cubes.
mm,
And for somebody to come into your ecosystem and expect your asset to perform at a higher rate than an asset that is in a different class, like you're not a utility asset. You're a entertainment and gaming
take it to
asset.
take it
Like
to a
it's
show.
a dude, yeah, exactly. It's like buying a ticket to a fucking amusement park.
Literally, that's
Are you upset as fuck when you leave the amusement park because you didn't win the fucking stuffed bear?
literally,
Like, are you? Come on.
and
You
like,
had fun on doing the other shit, didn't you? And if you didn't, please ask for a refund. You
yeah,
didn't have fun. Like, it's like
no way. Like,
you're building shit for people to have fun and be entertained, and like, it's
it's
just different. Hey, everybody. I wanted to take a quick moment to shout out our sponsor for today's episode and present you with an amazing offer from our partners at Blockchain Economy Summit. Blockchain Economy Summit is the world's largest blockchain and crypto conference network that just wrapped up an event out in Dubai with over 3,000 participants from over 75 different countries. The event's speaker lineup included some very influential thought leaders that spoke at the Dubai summit. People such as Ramia Faraga from Forbes, the CEO of DMCC, Vas Modinas from Microsoft, the co-founder and CMO of OKSE, the CEO of Bitcoin.com, the founder of Moralis, and many more have shared their thoughts on the main stage at Blockchain Economy Summit Dubai. And the next edition of the Blockchain Economy Summit is scheduled for February 27th and 28th, 2023 in London. With over 3,000 participants from over 65 countries and a mass amount of media coverage, the Blockchain Economy Summit London will be the biggest blockchain event conducted in the UK to date. This is their 6th time running this event, and it will honestly exceed all expectations from the audience and from the participating companies that are involved in sponsorships and or being exhibitors at the show. The Blockchain Economy Summit team has been gracious enough to extend the NFT Bros podcast listeners a private discount code to be used at checkout that gets you 15% off the price of tickets. So if you want to come to Blockchain Economy Summit London, make sure to grab a ticket now and use my discount code in the description below to get your extra 15% off, because who doesn't like saving a little bit of money? I will personally be speaking at this event, so I'm super excited and look forward to meeting many of you out there. If you do listen to the show and you end up grabbing a ticket, please DM me on Twitter and or in Discord, and we can meet up out there, have a drink, get to know each other, meet in person, take some pictures. I am super excited to be speaking at this event and potentially meeting some of the listeners from outside of the US that can't come to US events and or just, don't want to travel that far. So the detailed information is all below in the podcast show notes and or YouTube description, depending on where you're watching this at and or listening. But with that being said, thank you, and let's get back into the show.
It's funny in that sense, man. Like it I think that's the interesting thing about what we do in particular is that like it's right now when you look at the space, like when you look at, like, I think this is the thing that kind of like, again, just like, oh, we're just like venting now. We've now we've been alive for a year, right? Internet game is less than a year old still.
Yep.
I've given away over, I think, like $1.5 million in NFT prizes. I've done what we've done. Yeah, I've given away over $1.5 million in NFT prizes. I've run over two different internet games with a total of 11, 12 games that people have played, right? Like people have literally played our games as opposed to,
Yep.
it's coming one day.
Right.
And then I partnered with G Money. I partnered with the Saw film franchise and Lionsgate. And then like, again, it's like, and people are like, oh, like, you're not a blue chip. And I'm like, what do I got to do, man? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not a hype floor price thing, but like, it's like like
Yeah.
execution is not rewarded
No.
again at all.
Proportionately. No, absolutely not.
Not
No, no, 100%. I know many project founders right now that deserve way more fucking credit than they're getting. And it's like it will come, but the shift in the degen mindset has to change. I'm not saying that the degen shit has to change. I sincerely hope that fucking never leaves. I love that shit. You
fun.
know, fuck it. Let's have another Goblin Town that pops off. That shit was fun. That was a positive thing for the community. Everybody was like happy as fuck when that happened. But it's like you, the mindset of investing into a project has to be different. It has to be broken down, and people have to understand you're not investing into internet game now. you are purchasing a ticket to have a fun experience,
Mhm.
right? Whereas if you purchase a Just Cubes, the I guess what I'm trying to say is the mindset of investing into different projects, people have to have a better understanding of what they're getting into and what the project delivers
Dude, so
before project founders get the I guess recognition that they deserve, right?
I think that this is the thing that I think will actually change because like I think I mean like it's actually very curious. I'm very curious to see what happens with like this whole royalty debacle because like depending on that, like free mints will either cease to exist or
Yeah,
they won't, right? Like and
right.
like it just won't make sense to do free mints because if you're not making money on secondary, what's the point? Like there's no point.
Yeah,
Well, like all of those guys are probably shitting their pants, like the people that just kind of spin up the free mints.
yeah,
But I think that the number one thing, and I've kind of said this before, like you're talking about like, hey, I'm going to go out and raise capital. I want to go out and raise venture capital, right? Like as someone who's used to be on the other side of the table where I was investing in tech companies and then as somebody who then just went out and did it like I raised from like a lot of the best firms in the space and the thing that they're betting on is or the thing that they're investing in is they're like okay cool this is a cool idea like but like who are the people behind it like
yes,
and can they actually do what they're saying that they want to do and
yep,
like those at this particular stage those are really the only two things it's like is this idea good? Does it have a big enough market? And who's doing it? That's all that
yep,
matters. And so the thing is that like, and this is the funny thing about it, and like I like in the NFT space, NFT 1.0 was essentially just like Kickstarter for technology companies in exchange for JPEGs. Like that's what it
yep,
was.
yeah,
And now all of a sudden you have this thing where it's like, yeah, like, hey, we have this PFP and there's going to be like, there's this entire storyline and we're going to build a game and have a television show. And it's like, oh, cool. Like, and it's like started by, Joe Schmo. It's like, hey, Joe Schmo, like, what were you doing before you started this NFT project? He's like, oh, I worked as like a account executive at, a paper company. Right. And
right.
just,
Hi, my name is Dwight Schrute. I'm here to launch an NFT project. Like,
again, but that's a thing. Like,
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know.
it was a thing. And
Yeah,
like, so like, and it's like someone like, again, you said it yourself, like, you've worked in technology, you've run SaaS businesses, right? Like I've been a technology operator for 10 years. And so like, for me, it's like, I know how to ship product. I know how to do like everything around technology
right.
products. And so, that's where I just don't think that there was enough credence given at all to like, all right, yeah, this is a cool idea and the art is nice, but like, who the fuck are these people that are doing this?
Yes.
Right? And can they actually do what they're saying that they want to do? Like
Yep.
just nothing was given to that whatsoever. It was just
Yep.
like how good is the marketing on Twitter?
Right.
How many
Yeah.
people
How many shit posters can you pay to shill the fuck out of this and
literally
grow your following? It's
that was
like,
it.
dude, I could have grown 100,000 followers for Just Cubes prior to Mint. Did I? No, because I wanted quality in our community and I
Yeah.
wanted people to like actually understand the the project. And then it just also after you do that, the floor price it reflects. Like it's so easy to see. I know many. I'm not gonna name any names. I'm not that guy. Hey, fuck it. If you're gonna keep building after and do something cool, maybe your tactics I don't agree with to begin with, that you use to launch your project. But hey, if you're building, you're building. But um, you know, I think in the end, as Gary Vee says, and always says, and kind of tying this back to your, that little tidbit that you say is like we're going to the people in Web two and taking Web three to them. Gary Vee's thing is like 99.9% of these projects aren't going to be around in a couple of years. It's so fucking true because Dwight Schrute
Yeah.
from fucking Dunder Mifflin came and launched a project and it was a fucking PFP and he has no business experience and knows nothing.
Nothing.
It's like,
And this is actually the other because again I don't know where it happened, but like the actually I won't go down that path, but like I basically talk a lot about like what I refer to as unintentional rugs, right? Like so there's like
yeah,
different levels
The
of.
soft rug. Yeah.
No, again, like again, so I don't even know what you mean by that, but like the way that I talk about it is that like, look, there's the people who are like, yo, like super hype project, amazing PFP, we're gonna do all these amazing things, and then they literally change their website to like, haha, we took your money, there's nothing you can like. There's people have literally done that, right?
Yeah.
And that's like
Yep.
a hard rug.
Yes.
And but then there's what I refer to as the unintentional rug, which is like, I'm Dwight Schrute, I launched a project, it was super fucking hype, and people really bought into it and whatever. And then what happens is they go through this particular period right now.
Yep.
And what happens is their floor price drops. Why? Because people are exiting the market because they're exiting the market. So the
Yeah.
floor price drops. The secondary sales slow down significantly because now the community has completely disintegrated, and they are trying their hardest to keep the project alive and doing what they said that they were going to do, but inevitably they're going to have to give up because they're going to run out of money, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that they didn't have the intention, or the like they weren't like altruistic, or like had the integrity to go out and try and have that Netflix show made or try and have that game made. But then they're like, wait a minute, game development is actually really fucking hard. Or like, Netflix said no to my show.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and then
Precisely.
well, like and it becomes like a now what? And like that's
Right.
the reality of the matter, is that there can only be so many fucking PFP Netflix shows. Like there can
Yes.
only be
Exactly.
like
And,
you can build a
and
game.
yeah,
Like yeah,
the unintentional rug. Like you mentioned the hard rug, and I call the unintentional rug the soft rug. And
yeah.
Champ T brought this up as well. It's like you know
I tried.
we kind of had this similar. It's like they put in their best effort, and but they ran out of money because they didn't know how to operate a fucking business. Running
Yeah.
a business, literally, I'm going to quote Champ T here because it's so true. Running a business is fucking expensive, dude. And people don't fucking understand that shit. And the ability to run a business, and the the mental clarity and drive that you have to run a successful business, people underestimate. They don't know what the fuck they're getting into. They're just like, hey, this is fun. Like, hey, this is hype. And it's a soft rug. It's an unintentional rug. They meant the best, but you know,
I
they
think it's
didn't
nice
know what they didn't know.
for sure, and I think
You
that
know?
like it's a thing that it's like it's nice to dream about and talk about. Like in this, it kind of like reminds me of the whole like CCO thing, right? Like where it's like, what do you mean? Like this is now in the CCO. Like I was gonna do something with this. It's like, oh really? Like what were you gonna do? It's like, oh well, I have a Google Doc and I was gonna like build a water brand around my NFT. It's like, were you really? Like,
Yeah.
were you really gonna
What do you
do
know
like?
about water manufacturing facilities? Tell me.
Exactly.
Like, and like, dude,
What's the minimum quantity?
fucking really? Come
Yeah.
on.
What's the minimum quantity
Come
order
on,
that you
man.
start with? Like, like what was your
Yeah.
distribution plan, right? And it's like, oh yeah, well
Yeah.
I had it on a Google. It's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that like, everyone kind of like, again, just like people fast, like people fantasize or romanticize a lot of this shit, right? But like it costs, like the amount of money I've spent on legal fees, man, like is like it is disgusting.
Ridiculous.
It is
It's ridiculous.
disgusting.
I just had a fucking call with our CPA and attorney the other day, and they sent me an email, and there's a quote, and I'm just looking at it like,
Yeah.
I don't
It
want
is
to fucking spend this money, motherfuckers. Why?
spend
But it's like people just don't understand, man. They
multi
really
six
don't.
multi six
Yeah,
figures.
yeah.
Uh,
And
and
then on top of all of that, that the soft rug had to deal with, and then having to give up. Oh hey, SEC,
yeah.
IRS.
Oh gosh.
Hey,
Yeah.
where's your tax money?
Hmm.
That's coming.
Yeah.
6 months.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
There's going to be some really sad motherfuckers coming in a couple months
I mean,
from these mints that they did.
I was talking to my legal team about it just because I'm curious about it, right? Like, and
Yeah,
again, like I said, I don't want to like no one call, but they're just like, yeah, like most of these projects are securities, like,
yeah,
and like, but
right.
that's the fucked up thing too, man. That like, again, like I do actually like, as much as I am concerned about like the shit that we're talking about, like, because like it's almost like there's two different conversations, like, and like you'll see this when you go through the venture process, like the conversations I have behind closed doors with the venture investors and with these legal people and all this kind of stuff, where like it's almost like it's like, hey, don't like. It's almost like behind closed doors, we're having one type of conversation, and then with
Yeah,
retail, it's a very different conversation. And like,
absolutely.
so again, all these venture investors like are not bullish at all on PFPs. Like, they're like
Yeah,
very few. Again, you have to be a Bored Ape, a Doodles, an Azuki, a Cool Cats, or even I guess like even a Sappy Seals at this point, right? To have raised venture capital as a PFP, right? And then fucking internet game raised, like, like who the
right.
fuck are we, right?
Yeah,
But like the thing is that like none of these PFP projects, like unless you're like a fucking grade A, like tier S,
yeah.
like
Type type
t-
meme land, type V Friends, Board Ape shit.
you're not gonna
You're
get
not
funding
getting.
from those
No,
guys.
absolutely
They
not.
don't, because there's nothing to it. There's
No,
nothing. There's
the
nothing.
risk is the risk is too high.
Exactly right.
The risk is way too high,
And that,
especially if you're just some random fucking
oh,
white
exactly.
fruit paper company executive who like
Totally.
you're not getting funding from VCs.
No, not at all.
No, absolutely not.
And so like it's this, and like that's the fucked up thing about it though, is that like is that like, again, even going back to this whole idea of like, again, hey, these a lot of these NFTs are going to be considered securities too, is just that like those are going to, like, again, when Gary Vee says like, oh, 99% of these companies won't exist, again, largely due to these unintentional rugs, they ran out of money and whatever. But
Yeah,
then the ones that are remaining, et cetera, they're just going to be like, they all of a sudden just like, hey, you're a security now, like,
yeah. They're
what
gonna
now?
be sued into fucking nothingness. Like,
Yep.
yeah, it's gonna be fucked. And like that's the conversation we're starting to have with our lawyers as well. It's like, okay, well, I the lawyer that we're talking to is out of DC, and he's very close to the pulse of the SEC and the regulations and what's coming, right? And he's like, dude, honestly, like it's a 50 fucking 50 shot that they they consider you a security or not. And like you need to do your best job right now to frame yourself as not one, right? So whether it's having that recurring subscription because
Mhm.
then it's not a security, right? It's just a subscription service. Ooh, okay. So how can you skirt around that and use that loophole, right? Can you do a free plus gas re-subscription to your NFT project every single year and get around it like that? Okay, great. Sure, some people are going to be upset, but you're avoiding SEC scrutiny, IRS audits, all this bullshit that would take the company and fucking pound it into the ground and kill it.
Mhm.
Um, a
Yeah,
lot of people aren't thinking about
no, I mean for
that.
sure.
Huh?
Like, the thing that like it's actually kind of so funny because again the very reason that people find us polarizing is the very reason that we aren't a security as an internet game, because we build our games first,
Right.
then we launch a mint,
Yep.
right? And the mint is a ticket.
Right.
Like it's not it's
Yeah.
that's it. It's
I mean, that's exactly. It's a membership, right? Yours is a ticket. Ours is a membership. It's a subscription, right? So like when we launched Just Cubes, we had all of our utility pre-mint. We didn't use the funds that we
exactly.
got from the
I
mint
was sure
to
about
like
it,
exactly. We're not a fucking security, right? And so like
but
even though we don't fall into that category, we're going to do everything to avoid any type of scrutiny.
yeah,
And it's like, dude, and
it's
these are the types of things that paper company executives don't think about,
no,
right? And
it's
they don't know, even if they do survive and they get to next year and they're like, okay, yeah, I still have money left. Huh. Knock, knock, knock. Hi, I'm FCC. This is my friend IRS.
yeah,
We're here to fucking audit you.
yeah.
And then it's like, oh, well, you can't cover the legal fees and like you're fucked, right?
I
Because
wasn't,
you're
yeah, like I wasn't gonna say anything because I wasn't sure about like how you approached it, but like I'm really
yeah,
happy to hear that, because like
yeah,
the truth, again, like even a lot of these games, a lot of these like metaverses essentially, like they're like, yeah, like we're gonna build a game, this is what the game is, give us mint
right,
revenue, and then we're gonna use that mint revenue, oh, congratulations, you're security.
exactly,
And like,
exactly,
I'm just like, what is gonna like what is gonna happen to so many of these projects? Like I have
yeah.
no idea.
It's scary, man, and like it really is scary because the uncertainty is really what drives the fear in that aspect of things, and I, like I have some friends who've raised for gaming that way and who have raised money to do things that way, and like they're my friends. That's a homie that I can call and just be like, "Yo, let's go grab dinner." I'm fucking scared for them.
Are they
Like,
do they or are they do they not think that they're security for some reason? Like, they're like in denial.
I'm not involved in those conversations, and I kind of avoid it sometimes to bring it up because I just it makes me scared for them.
Yeah.
Some of them are aware and they're trying to do things to figure out how to get around because some of them are. It's like yes, this will 100% be considered a security.
Mhm.
Come tax time, come when the SEC starts heavily regulating things, and it's like okay, how are you gonna avoid this? But then there's others. It's like oh cool, you have a fucking business in Poland. Great,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about shit.
Mhm.
At least I don't know.
No, I
The
mean, it's actually so funny because like one of my investors who I'll introduce you to for sure. It's Delphi Digital, and these guys are incredibly smart. They're in like fucking all really really fantastic things. And one of the partners there would he would say to me just like he's like yeah just like hold off on doing like most things like because he's just like anything that you even like even if you like kind of promise something
yeah,
right? That like he's like you're either he's like you're like he's like the unfortunate thing is like the community wants to hear the things that will FUD the SEC, and
yeah,
if you say the things the community wants, you're flooding the SEC, and if you don't do if you don't say the things that the SEC doesn't want you to say, you're flooding the community, and
yeah,
he like,
exactly.
kind of sucks.
Yeah,
But like, who would you rather FUD? Like he's like, who do you like? Yeah,
holders,
yeah,
fucking Joe Schmo,
yeah.
69, 420.
He's like, "Yo, man, when
Yeah,
talking?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, man? Like, I have
yeah,
no idea what you're talking. Like, like
yeah,
no idea what you're talking about." And
yeah,
the truth is that like I'm so happy that we've like taken that particular approach and method is just because like you can't unsay something. You can't undo a token. Like you can't.
yeah. I can't just remove Just Cubes from the blockchain because I'm like, oh shit, it's a security, take it away. Like
Yeah,
we didn't do this.
you got rid of it.
It's on the blockchain, motherfucker.
Yeah. So
You should have thought about this prior to fucking doing it
yeah, so it's
because
fucked.
blockchain you can't hide.
And that's why literally
Yeah,
now almost any project that comes out, like they're just like they literally say the words no roadmap. Like no roadmap. Like
yeah,
no
yeah.
roadmap.
And I totally when I started seeing that, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I understand why. I
Roadmap.
get it, you know.
You just can't
Um,
which is
and like that was what what I was looking at. And you know, we got lucky. I got lucky. The people that I met that are my co-founders now for Just Cubes, uh, just so happen to be a lawyer,
mhm,
right?
sick.
And it's like, okay, great. We got some we not legal advice from a not attorney, and it's like, okay, well, hey, this was helpful, but there's a lot of these Dwight Schrute paper company executives that don't have that, and that like literally don't even know this is coming,
Oh my god.
have zero fucking clue. They're gonna get a fucking paper in the mail, or dude, like and they're just gonna shit themselves
You know
because
what's
there's nothing they can do.
yeah, what's weird too is that like, again, like you and I have known each other since I guess what, like maybe January, February of this year.
Mhm.
And like again, you were just someone I talked to on Discord. Like I had no idea. Like I didn't know much about you. Like I didn't know what you look like.
Yeah,
Didn't like never heard your voice before, anything like that, right? And what's funny for me actually is that like as I've gotten deeper in the space and I'm now talking to I've met more people and like there are founders of various projects that I've now spoken to like big like ones that I could say their names and you're like I've heard of that one or like yeah that was like these were like like I'm talking like solid like 2 to 10 ETH like floors at some point right which again during the bull market like that's like a like a really really respectable number
yeah,
um that are these Dwight Schrute people. Like I'm like what, and they were early. Like is
yeah.
really what
It's
it was.
yeah,
They
yeah,
were early and they had a community around them and they had a high floor price because they were early. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this guy knows fucking nothing. Like he doesn't know anything.
yeah,
And it was kind of shocking for me. And like I'm thinking about a couple because I've like done AMAs with these communities now. I'm like, wait a minute, what is happening?
yeah,
Um, because again, there's folks like you and I, and then there's just like and that's why, again, going back to, I guess this is like a long-winded way of just being like, in the future, it's all right. Is this a good idea? Like, do they have like working technology that is being utilized? Is the team like a legitimate like technology
Operators.
team? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, are they actually
Yeah.
real operators?
Yeah.
Um, Even now, like, you're seeing so much of Hollywood come into the space, and like, frankly, like, that's something where like I'm like this. It's like you and I could come up with some fucking lore and story, right? Like, oh, like, there's the planet, like planet Algernon, and there's a war
Yeah.
waging, like, and like, but like, you and I aren't pro screenwriters that like understand the
Nope.
nuance of storytelling,
Fuck
and
no.
and
I'm
so
not
like,
there.
there's just like a lot of those. There's a lot of that of like people who just like came up with the fucking story
Yeah.
versus people that are actually from Hollywood, right? Like, again, even like
Yes. Precisely.
Forgotten Runes Wizard cult, like these guys are from Hollywood, like they know what they're doing, like as
Hmm.
opposed to like, again, like Dwight, who came up with Battle Planet. it's,
Yeah.
so, it's so ridiculous.
It
How about
is. And but I'm excited. I'm excited for this like market reset. This is a really good like yes, it sucks. I like if you're invested in a project heavily that's soft rug, I'm sorry. Like but then again, I'm not sorry because you should take lessons from losing those things from these soft rugs because there was an undoxed team or there was even a doxed team, but they had
I do?
no experience doing shit in anything except a job where they were told what to do and they just fucking did it.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's like this market reset that's happening is healthy. It's needed. It it sucks to go through if you invested in these types of projects that were, you know, especially if you invested in these types of projects that were like not ran by people who were operators and or uh, successfully figured out who to hire as operators to make them successful. It
yep,
sucks because like there's no chance of you making your money back there, but I know it will make everybody a better investor because they're going to be more cautious and they're going to look at teams, which is important. It's very
yeah.
important.
No, it's actually really funny. I was talking to, again, I was having, like, again, this was a private conversation, not a like a podcast thing, but like I was like I was like, man, like, why are, why, like, because people, when they get eliminated in an internet game, they're like, oh, like, God, I can't believe I fucking wasted my point 0.1 ETH or whatever on this, da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, but like, hopefully you had a good time. Like, yeah, it was fun, but still, what the fuck, da da da. And like, all I want to say, I'm like, yeah, but like, you've like now wasted significantly more money on all these PFPs that are just dead,
Yes.
right? And like, I
Thank
don't see
you.
it. But at the same time, like,
Exactly.
I'm like, why don't they feel that way? And the reason is because it's still in their fucking wallet, right? Like,
Yes. 100%.
like they haven't like accepted the death of this project, like they've accepted the death in internet game, like the
Right,
like
exactly. Because it's like
game. That's fine.
it's they're used to dying in a game and it's like, "Oh, fuck. Okay. Let's
Yeah,
play again." Oh, it's like, "Oh, well, I can't play again now cuz I died." Like you'll
exactly,
have to wait till next season or next game or whatever.
exactly.
Um
As opposed to the
like it's a,
PFP that's worthless now in their wallet.
yeah.
They like they still think they're, again, and I had it too, man. Like I had plenty of
Oh,
bags
same.
in
Yeah.
like in 2018 when like my Neo bag went from like I think it was like $400 or $200 at its all time high, and it like went down to like $20, and I'm like, I'm gonna hold it, right? And like it never, like, Neo, Omis Go, all
Yeah.
of these all of these like ERC20 tokens that I was in,
Yeah.
like they never came back ever.
Yeah. You have to so like I mean, it comes back to like something Gary Vee says so often, and I like people fucking shit on him, but like whatever. I like him for who he is and like what he's doing. He has a really good point of view of the market, and it's like, dude, don't fucking get into this market with money you can't afford to fucking lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you go and spend $2,500 on a fucking Gucci belt and just because you could potentially flip it at the right time for
Yeah,
$2,800 if that money you have to use in 30 days to pay your fucking rent? No, you're not. Why are you doing it on the fucking internet?
yeah,
to somebody who has a shit PFP and has no actual experience. It's like, dude, I'm sorry, but you're fucking dumb for that. And I've been that person. Like, I dropped $2,500 on a buddy of mine's project that I was like, dude, this is going places. They have a lot of cool partnerships, and some internal stuff happened with the team, and like, it's shitty. He had the best intentions, but I'm like, dude, I can't go to him and fucking complain because of my investment decision. It's like, dude, come on.
No, it's real. I mean, I actually, it is kind of like, because it is kind of strange to think about like how much money people are willing to drop on NFTs, but like think twice
It's
about
crazy. Yeah,
think twice
in the real world, like
about right?
we
Like,
had this conversation with the the whiskey partnership guys. So like they're old school Web 2 dudes, and they don't understand the NFT market. But and they're like, oh, you think we can maybe sell these for like $15 a bottle? And it's like,
no.
dude, I could probably sell those for $1,500 a bottle just because it's an NFT. Like, and people spend money differently. Not that we're going to do that. Not that we're going to try and like gouge the market for as much money as possible. That's not our goal, right? We have longer term goals, but people spend money differently, and they just, I don't know why they have these different investment theses
I don't think
when
I
it
think
comes
it's
to
an investment.
projects.
Like, I think like that's, I don't know if you have this. Like, we have it because we are like, there's like so much with regard to internet game. Like, it's like nuanced where like we have our game token, we have our Mac, we have games starting at, the game is starting at October 19th at 12 p.m. and runs for 24 hours, and then like, someone comes in on October 21st, they're like, oh, I missed the game, like what the fuck, oh, I didn't see any. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't,
It's a fucking
I'm like,
set time. Like,
like,
I missed the first one. I had a token and I knew when the fucking game was gonna be, and I fucking missed out. I'm not gonna go DM you like, hey bro, like I missed that. Can you like slide me in, bro? Like,
people don't read
I'm
like,
gonna eat that. That's an OG token that's gonna sit in my wallet for a long time.
yeah,
And I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be like, oh, look at this fucking dumbass. You didn't go play the game, you fucking idiot.
yeah, and
And it's
like,
gonna be a good memory, but like, I don't know.
I think it's just
Something,
like, people buy first, people jump first, read second is kind of like
yes.
what I've kind of come to learn is that like people like, and I actually have this one, there's like this one, I like took a screenshot, I like lost it, but like in my like general chat, somebody's like, hey, what time does the game start? And we're like, oh, the game starts at 12 p.m. EST. And literally the next message was, hey, what time does the game start? Right. And it like, it's just like,
Yes.
it's
Oh my
just like this
gosh.
on demand, like it's like this on demand generation where they're like, I don't want to do any research. I don't want to,
No.
I just want everything just given to
Yeah.
me.
Give it to me. Right. Pander to me because I invested money.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you didn't invest money, motherfucker. You bought a ticket to a game.
Yeah. So
Like,
again,
if you buy a ticket to the movie that starts at 8 p.m.,
yes,
you
yes.
don't fucking call the movie theater and be like, "Hey, can you check this ticket ID? Tell me
Yeah.
when the fucking movie starts." No, you show up at 7:50, get your fucking popcorn, and go sit the fuck down in your seat because
Sure.
you bought a ticket to an event
An
that
event.
starts at a certain time. Be a fucking adult and figure out when it starts yourself because it's laid out on the internet for you. Like, it's
Never once,
there.
I've never once thought about that analogy. I'm like, it's like, person who just like misses the game has never missed a movie showtime. Like,
Dude, exactly. Like, who buys a fucking ticket to a movie and then just
like,
completely misses it? Completely. Not even you showed up 5 minutes and you missed the first
yeah,
48 seconds of the movie.
24 hours to play this game.
Dude, it's like you showed up to the movie theater the next day with the fucking ticket. You're like, hey, what the fuck? Can I still see this movie? It's
Yeah,
showing today.
yeah.
No, fuck off.
There's not a
You
thing.
can't. That was for yesterday. Fucking be a fucking responsible human being. Like,
That's actually crazy. I don't know why I've
fuck?
never thought of
Like literally just thought about that.
it.
Like,
It's like,
dude,
oh, like, can't you extend the time window? I'm like, I can't.
No,
No.
not for you. If every single fucking holder misses, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
We
no, so we did
okay.
something.
You know that? Okay, yeah. Hey,
So
we'll push
we
it back.
clearly did something wrong, but like
We can talk about that.
99% of people played the game, like remembered to play
Yeah, exactly.
somehow.
You are the fucking minority here once again,
Yeah.
and it's like, dude,
I get life happening and all that kind of
what do
stuff.
you want me to do? I get that. I don't even remember why I missed the first one, but I missed it, and I was like, oh well, fuck, shit out of luck. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and you hate to say that, and you have to say it in a nice way because then people are just gonna go shit on you and
Mhm.
fud you for being real and realistic. And it's like, dude, like I'm not here to fucking babysit you. My
Yeah.
team is not here to fucking babysit you and ensure that you play a fucking game on the internet. Like,
Well, that's something. I think that's something that again, that's also the kind of the tough balance is that like again,
yeah,
right? Like it's so nuanced, and again, we have that misalignment, which I think has really been just the theme in general
yeah,
about this. And then like simultaneously, it's um, like we can't afford to like be dicks. You
no,
know what I mean? Like we just can't.
no, because
Like
we're too early. We're too early for that.
too early, and like
Web two, absolutely.
every
Web
single
two,
person,
100%.
like again, like incredibly grateful for every single
Yeah,
person, and
yep.
but at the same time, like they really like they like I feel like it's almost like they know, like that.
Yes, 100%. I swear, some of them fucking do it on purpose. And it's like, dude, you know what you're doing. What, like, come on. Can you please just not? And you have to figure out how to say that without saying it, but
Yeah,
hint at it without hinting at it. And it's like, eh, dude,
yeah.
I
No, I
mean,
mean
I got better shit to do than that,
that's
right?
like what the detractors. They're like, oh, like you just keep wanting money from us, like to play
Yeah.
these games, like, and I'm
Huh.
like,
Fuck, it
what?
costs money to build the game. What the fuck
It's
you
like,
want me to do?
like
Can't build shit for free.
just giving away a board ape, like no big deal. Like, I was like, what do you? And they're like, oh, like, and I'm just like,
They have no response because they do not understand anything past looking at a JPEG
yeah,
and wanting to flip it for a profit.
what price
And
go
it's
up?
like, yeah, oh, when price go up? What? Oh, look at floor price. It's like,
Yeah,
dude, come on,
exactly.
fucking like, and it happens with my community too. Like, it, and I'm sure all right, but when I come into my Discord and I see someone talking about the floor price or like, oh, like this project's shit now because the floor price is low. It's like, dude, we have the exact same fucking utility that we had pre-mint, except it's better,
Yeah,
and we're building other cool shit just to give to you because we want to build cool shit because we want our holders to make more money. And it's like you're complaining about the floor price where investor A, who's a fucking whale, just swept 40 cubes because he actually understands, like, okay, I can sweep 40 cubes for one ETH, and across these wallets that I use the hypernode on, and I bought one fucking hype mint, and I make two ETH, boom. Now I'm into just cubes for free. I'm never selling those assets because they help make me money. It's like, how do you not just take 10 seconds to look at it that way and then go, oh fuck, that's hella smart. Like we have
yeah,
so many people who come in the Discord. There are very smart holders in our community. I'm very happy, but there are some that just come in and shit on the floor price and don't think about these things. It's like, dude, we have so many testimonials of people coming in and they're like, "Yo, bought a cube for 0.5 6 months ago, almost at the top, but I could give a fuck less because I got a fucking Moonbird mint and
oh
I
wow.
sold it for 38 ETH." It's like,
Well, and
that wasn't a public one that I got, but that shit happened. I got a private DM from a holder who flipped a fucking Moonbird for 38 ETH. And he goes, I'm literally never fucking selling this asset in my life because it made me a fucking 8,000x or whatever that was. It's like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why come in here and fucking complain about the floor price? Why come in and ask why
is
you're
there
asking for me to build a multi-million
for
dollar game?
that for that's not the community? Like, how many cubes should I get? It's like what? It's
Dude,
like starter
like
amounts.
one, I don't know, one. It like it, if I don't fucking trade NFTs hardly ever
I don't.
now, right?
I don't. I don't. okay, first of all, I own no NFT. Like
Exactly. So
so
like, don't
I,
don't
I've
fucking don't buy a cube then. Like
no, I mean, I'm
you're
just saying for utility purpose. Oh wait, is it
yeah,
because of NFT trading then?
right. Like this
Yeah,
is
I don't.
like we're specifically targeting NFT traders to
Got it.
help them, with their trading. Like that's we're a tool. We're an
Yeah,
asset to use to help you with your trading, right?
and
So
I would.
like
I'm not
you
good
and
at.
I are not the target demographic here.
Got it.
It's DGen Tommy 69420 who's trying to flip $500 into 10 ETH this year.
Yeah, yeah,
Great. I fucking love that goal.
yeah,
But don't come in here bitching about my floor price after you bought my NFT for $100, then took that $400 and were able to fucking flip it into to 3 ETH and come in here and complain about my assets utility not performing. It's like, yes, it did perform. Who cares about the fucking floor price? You just made back your $100 you invested into my project at a 15x. Why are you're into my project for free? Shut the fuck up and enjoy it. Like
for sure.
it's like I don't know. It's like buying a movie ticket and showing up and having them give you the money back for a movie ticket and then be like, "Oh yeah, anyways, come on in. You can still watch the movie."
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's
It's
a
like
wild, man.
with your game too.
A wild
It'd
time.
be the same concept.
Yeah, I think
But
it's just how it is.
anyways, I think we got to wrap it up here. You got another call here in a couple minutes, right?
Yeah, I do. But this was
Okay.
this was a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, I'm glad where it went. No scripted questions or preset questions. I love these types of conversations where they just flow. Um, I, I will give you the stage for another 60 seconds for those people who are here to tell them uh, how to get involved with Internet Game and what you guys are doing. So the
Look,
floor is yours.
I think that yeah, one, I appreciate that. I appreciate the conversation. I think the thing that if you're still here and you're still listening now, is the thing I'll say. One, hopefully you get a little bit more insight into the project dev's mind and kind of how we think about things and really kind of the stuff that is on our plate and the stuff that we deal with. So hopefully you have a little bit more compassion for us.
Hopefully,
But yeah, Internet Game in a lot of ways, again, like our utility is fun. And we build blockchain games that are actually like played
yeah,
and used. And, we have, again, we're a team of 15. Gosh, I mean, partnered with Lionsgate, like, and we're less than a year old. Like, so we're obviously doing things that are really, really awesome in the space. People are really, really enjoying it. People find it to be one of the most fun things they've ever done in Web3. And yeah, I mean, like we're no Dwights, you know what I mean? So we're serious operators and we're here for the long run. So in the case that you're interested, grab a game token, grab a Mac and come say hi and in our community. But yeah, we're just constantly doing really, really fun things. So
yep.
dude, I really appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. The conversation was great. And I really think that there will be a lot of people who text me about this episode. I get a lot of texts from close homies who are watching what I'm doing and like trying to understand the NFT space. I get texts from them because they're newbies into the NFT space, but they're interested. So I get a lot of good feedback, and I'm sure that this will provide them a lot of insight into um, the side of the space that 99% of these degen investors don't get to see, right?
Yep.
And I hope it will add some compassion from their end. Not that we need it, but it's like, hey,
For
I
people
hope
too.
you learned something, right? Like this episode will be valuable. I'm super happy that you were able to take some time out of your day to join us. And everybody who's listening, thank you guys for joining. If you gained any value out of this episode, please drop a like, drop a comment, share this with somebody so that we can help expand the Web3 community and onboard some more people and also go to those people and be like, hey, this is Web3. Like it's not so scary. It's not so scary, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe. I will put Internet Games information in the podcast show notes as well as the YouTube description and anywhere else that I share this. So if you guys are interested in Internet Game, go and join what Krish is doing over there with his co-founders. They're doing some cool shit. And with that being said, I will see you guys on the next episode.
You guys.
Krish, thanks for stopping by.
Awesome.